Well, I actually didn't start photography till I was about 23 or so. I was a printmaker. I was doing silkscreen and lithography and etchings, and I would often use photographs in my printmaking. This was back in the day before Google. So if I needed a picture, I would look in a magazine or a book, and then sometimes I was like, I can't find the image I want. So I decided to take a photography class so I could make the image to use in my printmaking. And then I took a trip to Europe for 3 weeks. I'm from Canada originally. And after my trip, and I had all these pictures, I took pictures, I came back, I developed the film, and I looked at them, and I was like, oh, I want to do this. And I switched over. I'm influenced by different photographers for different reasons. Someone like August Sanders, I really admire his very formal portraits that are composed in a very static way. But then I'll look at someone like Martin Parr, where it's funny and it's colorful and there's a lot of use of flash. And then, of course, there's people like Diane Arbus that's very obscure, weird people, which I also am attracted to, the sort of people that are on the fringes of society. So I guess those are three people we can say that influence me. But, you know, nowadays there's just so many people out there. I am currently putting a book. We're actually going on press Monday called EUSA. So I guess technically we can say I'm not working on it once the book is out there in the world. But the next project I'm going to be doing, my next really big project, I'm taking a canoe trip for 10 weeks this summer. I'm going to be going down the river, that the same, recreating the canoe trip of the fur traders from the 1860s in Canada. So I'm starting in Montreal and going to Thunder Bay. So it's about several hundred miles. And I'll also be dressed in costume from the 1800s. It's going to be weird. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be weird. What's my impression about Fotoistanbul? Well, the festival is wonderful. The people are terrific. There's been wonderful art exhibitions. What's been really great for me is to discover new photographers from other parts of the world that I was unfamiliar with their work. And now it's like, wow, where was this person and how come I haven't seen it? So that's what's always wonderful about photo festivals, and Fotoistanbul brought a lot of those people from different parts of the world. And I really, and also to get to meet the people has been wonderful, to make new friends. So today it's follow the works. It's a different world than, let's say, even 10, 15 years ago. I used to look through magazines and I'd look at the byline of a story, and that's how I would follow people's works. Today with Instagram, it's so much easier to find photographers and you like those photographers. And then you also look at who those photographers follow as well. And it's kind of falling down a rabbit hole, and you can and find new people. The people I follow the most right now are, even though I don't do street photography, I love looking at good street photography. So there's a photographer in Los Angeles by the name of Michelle Grosskopf. Her work is, and this woman, every day she puts 10, 15 new pictures every day, and each one is fantastic. And I'm like, I can't believe how she does it. Daniel Arnold is a photographer out of New York who does street photography, and they're always very weird pictures. They're really fun to look at. Landon Nordham, he's a New York photographer, but he travels all over the world. He does a lot of, I don't like fashion, I'm not in the fashion world, but he does a lot of behind the scenes at the Paris fashion shows or the Met Ball Gala. Yeah, and again, these are all kind of street photographers or behind the scenes documentary photographers, and their work is all marvelous. I suggest looking at their work. I think the sooner we stop calling ourselves photographers and we start calling ourselves artists, the better. The camera is a tool, but we are the artists. And it's weird, in the art world, for whatever reason, photography is kind of like the dirty little sister to painting or sculpture or whatever. And I think part of that is when you're introduced to someone, you always say, "Oh, I'm a photographer," and it's kind of like you're not giving the skill or the craft as much credit as you should. We're not just photographers; we're artists. And I think when we start calling ourselves artists, we'll be taken more seriously.